Good morning. Good morning, y'all. Good morning. Good morning. It is like 6 o'clock in the morning. It's like 6 o'clock in the morning. I have never went live this early in the morning. So let's see. But I feel like business lives, like whenever I talk business, I've always felt like that should be more in the morning. And like relationship, life stuff should be more like in the evening. I always thought business talks should be in the morning. I don't know. I kind of just wake up on business before I get into content so I can let a couple of people hop on. I always go to sleep at 10 o'clock because I always try to wake up at 5 6 a.m. But I don't really. I think that's what okay. I saw a lot of people talk about morning routines and just having routines in their life and just really successful people because I only take advice from people that's doing the things that I want to do in life. Everybody can't give me advice because everybody doesn't have good advice. So I was taking that advice, but I definitely I stayed up all night tonight, and I feel like I'm way more creative doing these night hours. But I see a lot of people are way more creative doing these night hours. I just wish I kind of didn't do it tonight before a photo shoot. But whatever. Good morning. Good morning. If you just hopped on, do you have a business? Do you have a brand? Are you familiar with MLMs, network marketing? Are you familiar? So I am familiar with MLMs. I have been in three MLMs. Well, one is a shoppers club, and I guess they don't like being called an MLM. MLM stands for multi-level marketing or network marketing. So I'm gonna tell y'all my general thoughts about MLM, and then I'll get into different companies. Okay. So my general thought about MLM, it is a great way to start in business. I actually would suggest to any, so I've been an entrepreneur for 10 plus years, and unlike a lot of entrepreneurs, I have everything to show for it. Okay. So I've had my own business since I was about 18, 19, legally, business license, and I have all my own things to show for it. Crib, furniture, all those great things. Um, I get worried when people who don't live off their business give business advice. I'm always leery about that. But I'm gonna just tell y'all my in general thought about network marketing. I feel like network marketing MLM is a great start to learn business. One, because most of the time with an MLM, you're not going to have to deal with inventory. And I think that's a great way to start off in business because so I did It Works, Pure Romance, and Melaleuca is a shoppers club. So with Pure Romance, I had to have inventory. With It Works, I didn't have inventory. So I've experienced both. In the case of It Works was set up more like drop shipping. People could order directly from my website and it got shipped right to them. However, I did have the option of buying inventory. I personally didn't buy inventory from It Works because I didn't get to the point where I think the highest I got in It Works was diamond. But that means I promoted like 4 times, like through the ranks. Team set, always been a team. Y'all know I could get a team together, okay? So my nephew's in MLM, right? And he's telling me about these mentors. But the thing is, network marketing is a good business. Multi-level marketing is a good business. I don't care if it's It Works, if it's Amway, if it's Mary Kay, if it's Avon. I am pro MLM. I am pro network marketing. I've seen people become, self-made millionaires with MLMs. I paid all my bills with It Works. Like, I didn't go to work with Tussie until Tussie was about 3 years old. And even with that, I went to work at WeWork, which was an opportunity that I needed on my resume for just the skills that I wanted in life. It wasn't like, I needed multiple jobs or whatever. So I believe in MLMs. I believe in what they stand for. I never been the type that was like, oh, whenever people say MLMs is a scam, They say that because whoever you sign up under makes money off you. They get a commission off you. But I personally never was bothered by that. I feel like you will never eat. You'll never eat good if you always watching the next man's plate. So if you always watching the man to the left or right of you and you care about what's on their plate, I just don't really think you gonna get yours, you know? So with MLM, yes, my upline did make 30% of my commission, and I'm a money maker. I make sales. I close. I'm a closer. You hear me? I'm a closer. I make sales. That I'm a money maker. Okay? So my commission were always higher than whatever the average commissions were. So we talking about MLMs, network marketing. Hey Mario, y'all, if y'all need a raw ass engineer, a dope engineer that is actually professional, I will follow Mario. Now I don't know that do not use my name because I did not refer y'all. Because if I refer you, you got to go in there on business. I don't play about my referrals. You hear me? I don't play. If I personally send you to Mario, you better go in there and pay in full and rap like you got some respect for yourself. You hear me? Sing like you're somebody. Anyway, I don't work with artists that's not gonna make it. Okay. Anyway, back to the subject. Shameless plug. I just want all my people to win. Mario, I definitely want you to win. Shameless plug. So with it works. So right, me personally, I always focused on making sales more than building the team. A lot of times people feel like multi-level marketing or network marketing is a scam because you do make money off your downline. I'm trying to explain all this really quick, okay? A pyramid scheme is just that. Now, pyramid schemes are illegal, but I feel like if you do it with your close circle of friends or you do it with like a close circle of business, you don't have to worry about it. In Cash Queens, we have a money circle, which is virtually a pyramid. Basically, everybody put money in, it goes to one girl, then everybody put money in, it goes to the next girl. That's how we do our business. Baby showers, among other things. Whatever expenses a Cash Queen need for her business to grow, for her brand to grow, if it's, you know, a certain feature you on your mixtape, or you know, you're trying to push out your EP and you need visuals, we have to have a budget for that. So, you know, we put money into making sure each one of us win and grow. I never had a problem with my upline. So if y'all Google Ronnie Brown is no longer with It Works, but she was one of the top earners in It Works, and she was definitely the top black girl earner in It Works. I joined It Works when she was still with It Works, and I watched her buy a Tesla. I watched her pay off her house. Like, it's real money out here, okay? With my team, I built my team to the point that I did get lazy with It Works. I was living off, so Keisha C and Jay, those are some money makers. Those are some money makers. It was to the point, as long as I covered my BV, that my check was going to be about $2,000 off their checks. Now, do you know how much money they were making? Because I was only getting 30% of whatever their orders were, plus my own orders. So I had reoccurring clients, but whatever, that came out to be about $2,000 a month, just from It Works. Now let me tell y'all my problem with network marketing and MLMs. Okay. I love the business structure. I love it for entrepreneurs. I feel like it teaches you all the key basics you need to know about business. You need to understand a warm market and a cold market. You have to know how to present the item, and you have to be able to close. Also, the fortune is in the follow-up. Okay? All of these things are things you learn in MLM. Go Pro is a book about MLM. It was written by Eric Worre, but I don't care what your business is. I think you should read Go Pro because it just has business steps. So even if you don't join the MLM, the way it teaches you to sell, the way it teaches you to share your opportunity, the way it teaches you to bring people in your business, I really love Go Pro. I really love Eric Worre. WORRE. I really love Eric Worre, so I would just go follow him, y'all. Boom, he's great. Lisa Nichols is great. It's a lot of great business coaches out here that's giving out free content. Even though I after I get so much free content from a person and I know they on their shit and they know what they talking about, I go ahead and pay them for it, because usually free content, as good as it is very generalized. If you want hands-on, you need to pay that person. And I don't mind paying a person for their time and their expertise. Like, whatever, we all got to eat. You got bills to pay. If I didn't think that your knowledge was worth something, I wouldn't be coming to you for knowledge, right? So I shouldn't mind compensating you for your time, right? Okay. MLMs teach. The way they teach you to sell is so shiesty. Okay, it's not the company itself, but it's just the way that downlines teach to sell. I just asked my nephew, bro. It is no reason why you should be in the MLM more than a year and ain't closed nothing. It's not that the business is a scam, but I feel like his mentors is a scam, because I've talked to his mentors, bro. So the first mentor, was trying to sell me on the stats too much. And I repeated the stats back to him, because when you're dealing with a person that's familiar with business, I'm going to go research it for myself. I don't need you to tell me when the company came out. I don't need you to tell me how long the company been out. There's a difference between sharing an opportunity and selling a person. I'm trying to get my nephew, because I'm seeing him throw around this mentor word. When I said what, I just asked him, what qualifies this little bitch that you calling a mentor to be a mentor? He tells me because she paid for a conference ticket. That doesn't qualify as a mentor, though. That's not what a mentor is. If you're not making sales, if you're not closing deals, you're not in business. I don't, and see, my nephew's been watching me have my businesses since I was 18, 19. And they've always watched me make money off of it. I feel like, one, they're scamming. That the situation they got going on, I don't feel like it's Amway, but I feel like his mentors are scamming him. And that's what you have to watch out with MLMs and network marketing. It's not so much of the company. Whatever the compensation plan is, you're going to get paid from that. If the compensation plan says you make 15% off of everybody in your downline, that's how much you're going to make. That's not a finesse. That's not a fraud. But your uplines could be frauds, because it seems to me that they're only making money off recruitment, which is, one, that's what's illegal. Ain't no way in the world you should be in a company for more than a year and not make one sale, okay? There's no way in the world. Other than they're not teaching him how to sell and close. I don't know why he didn't come to me, because he watches me sell shit like crack, okay? First off, this is the first thing. This is why I feel like it's scammerish. To even encourage a 21-year-old boy, every business has a niche. Okay, every business has a niche. And although everybody can shop with every business, not everybody is going to support your business. This is what I mean. If you drink coffee and you're a coffee drinker, okay, and I sell tea, I'm going to go to the tea house before I go to the coffee house. Do I got any business minds on here? Why would I, if I sell tea, why would I go to a tea house that already sell tea instead of a coffee house? Reason being, yes, everybody in that coffee house can drink tea. They're all able to drink tea, but they're not tea drinkers. They're coffee drinkers. So when I approach them, I already have to break down this barrier of whatever they drink. The moment I approach them, I already have to go into sales mode. I got to sound salesy, okay? Salesy don't work, because I guess it works for some people. For me, it's like, share the opportunity. Don't sell the opportunity, share the opportunity. So when you go to a tea house and everybody already drinks tea, and you know these people want tea, you're no longer trying to sell them a product. You don't have to convince them that tea is better than coffee. You don't have to convince them the health benefits of it. You don't have to. Half the sale was already sold when you go to your target market, okay? For adults to be telling a 21-year-old boy to market to his his age group and his niche marketing, like they're not teaching him how to close, they're not teaching him how to market, and they're not teaching him sales. And I'm very frustrated because it's like, nephew, I got a whole business and that's all we do, and you see us make these sales. I don't really understand why you're going to outside people who just kind of got this hobby shit going on for you. Like, run your business, but you have to make sales. These people are not teaching you closing. Whenever you do a business, you should be able to take those skills and go to the next business, especially when we're talking about entrepreneurship. Now, for example, I want to say the mascara is $26. What 21-year-old you know is spending $26 on mascara? Your audience matters. The product you sell has to match the audience that you're selling to. The fact that they encourage him, but they're not teaching him actual business skills, to me, I'm like, bro, that's like calling niggas big homies, big bro. What did they do for you? They flew you out to a conference and got you a ticket. They profit off that. The business team profits off that. Whoever the team leader is, you always get a bonus for having the most people at conference. The more people you can bring out on your team, the better it looks. Why are you so trusting? I would have been said by now, like, so y'all not going to make me no sales, though? Like, y'all not going to teach me sales, though? You're not going to teach me closing? Have they taught you the follow-up, the fortunes in the follow-up? It's not the businesses. MLMs get a bad name because everybody is their own distributor. So, like, when I was selling It Works, I had It Works wraps are toning, tightening, and firming, okay? So, and they're a botanical wrap that you cannot sweat in. If you sweat in the It Works wraps, then it's not going to work. I went and sold a wrap to a girl. She told me her last wrap didn't work. I said, why it didn't work? She said, because the girl told her to put on a waist trainer. She said she got the feeling that the girl was just trying to make a sale. If you know what you know, waist trainers sweat. And they make you sweat bad. So the fact that this It Works distributor even told her to put a waist trainer on top of the wrap, it doesn't mean the wrap doesn't work, and it doesn't mean the company isn't good, but you got a not shit distributor. It's like my nephew mentors, I'm commenting on his stuff. She commented back, so I asked her, who is you? And she ignored me and said she was talking to my nephew. Okay, well, bitch, now I'm going to address you because I feel like y'all using my nephew. Now I'm going to address you personally. Because if my nephew was under my mentorship, he would be making sales. I don't know why he didn't, want to work with. I can't say I don't know why, because I make sales, but I don't play about business. Like, I don't babysit nobody in business. I would have already had him switch companies because of his age and his target market. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to encourage you, even if it means you're not on my team no more. I always cared about everybody I worked with. I always cared about my whole team. Always. So I would never encourage a person just to keep them on my team. Then they're telling him to spend his money on the business. But you're not making no money on it. I invest in all my businesses. But I also make money from it. Because if you're not making money, it's a hobby. These same people got mad at my 19-year-old nephew. Amway looking very scamish to me. And when you Google Amway, it says all these things, which is the problem. They got mad at my second oldest nephew, the 19-year-old, because he told them, I can't join the business right now. I have to buy a coat. Again, if the mascara is $27 or whatever the freak it is, I know it's over $10. What 19-year-old girl is buying mascara that's that expensive? Look at the I just told Daquan, like, look at the products they offer. Look at these vitamins. Look at the price. It's nothing wrong with Amway. It's nothing wrong with Amway business. Amway has been around. Amway is one of the oldest MLMs out here. So it's nothing wrong with Amway and their products. I actually like their products. But would I market Amway products to women under 25? No, they can't afford it. They can't afford it. In general, when you do a target market, you have to count in demographics. When you count in your demographics, that helps you figure out how much, about on average, how much money does the person in your target make, and how much do they spend on cosmetics. This is all market research that they're not encouraging my nephew to make no money. So that's where this rant just came from, because it's nothing, and people get bad taste in their mouth about network marketing because they deal with network marketers like Elliot and like, what's the bitch name? What's her name? Whatever. I shared it because she one of them condescending little bitches. You feel me? One of them little condescending ass little bitches. Oh, I don't fight. I don't argue. I'm not one of them. Girl, I will knock your lace front to the lakefront. I am one of them. So don't get smart with me. Don't start all that extra shit, especially if you think you're going to be around Day Day. Because, come on now, that means you're going to bump into me. So keep that shit cordial. Just answer me if I ask you. If I got a question about my nephew, I'm going to bug up. That's period. I'm going to bug up. Especially because I feel like y'all taking his work checks. And I feel like my nephew is being taken advantage of in his MLM. Because I feel like they taking his work checks, telling him to buy products, but not teaching him the follow-up. Not teaching him how to close. When his mentor was giving me the pitch, his mentor talked all around all this nothing ass shit. I'm a businesswoman. I know how it go already. I want stats. I want to know who is your when it comes to MLM, it's basic things I want to know. What's your flagship product? Flagship product is, what's the product you push the most? Most MLMs have like 400 products. So I would always tell somebody to pick a product and push it. If you in TLC, I wouldn't push the vitamins that everybody else pushes. Why? Because they're cannibalizing their market. TLC has so many products, but they kind of teach everybody to do this neutral blast. Well, now you cannibalizing the market. Me personally, I would find something else. So like with It Works, everybody really, really pushes wraps. I pushed wraps too, but I'm more so focused on selling hair, skin, and nails, Confusia, I can't pronounce it. But I'll tell you what they are. So Confusia is a stress relief vitamin that has ginseng in it and St. John's wort. It's an all-natural supplement that helps stabilize your moods and helps you kick depression. That's something that I personally needed, so I was getting that on rotation, baby. I was ordering that on rotation. Hair, skin, and nails, of course, that was something you can take care of your hair, you could take care of your skin, you could take care of your nails, but it starts with the inside. Because you could take care of it all you want at this outside your body, but that's trying to like maintain. So I always pushed hair, skin, and nails. And my two health products that I pushed was the greens and the cleanse, because I'm skinny and I've always been small, but I get that bottom gut, like I get that bottom blow, which means I'm just backed up. It's stuff in our intestines. Whenever you see a slim girl and she got that bottom stomach, that's because she needs to go on a cleanse. Years and years of waste builds up in our intestines. I still sold wraps. I still used wraps, but I didn't want to cannibalize my market when other girls, if you run into a distributor 9 times out of 10 on her page is going to be wraps. So I just wanted to offer something different. You don't cannibalize the market. They haven't even taught him that. His pitch, you've been in Amway too long, bro. My question was what qualifies a mentor to you? What? Ooh, that's a juicy ass question of the day. What qualifies as a mentor to you? I'm going to have to call my nephew and talk to him. I really just, I peeped it a year ago, but business is something he has to learn for himself. I would like to show him other businesses because at this point, I feel like he's missing. And if you're watching, would you help him if you even know how to do it? But at this point, he needs to learn sales. He needs to learn closing. He needs to learn the follow-up. Because just spending money on a business, and your mentor is steadily encouraging you to spend money, but your mentor hasn't taught you how to follow up. When I talk to my nephew, he's like, what's a hot market? What's a cold market? But you have mentors? No, you have people that's encouraging you to spend money on the business. Again, I'm all for MLMs. I was with It Works. This apartment didn't come from It Works, but my house on Baker got paid for by It Works. So I'm all for MLMs. I'm all for network marketing. I'm not for people who misuse it. That's why MLMs have a bad name. Because you have independent distributors treating the company and doing the company the way they want. It's scamish to me to tell a 19-year-old not to buy his coat. They told my nephew's brother not to buy his coat, but to go into business. Again, but we're talking about targeted market, okay? If you're in the Amway business, your target is 35 and up. Because why would your target be 35 and up? Is there any businessmen on here? If you're in the Amway business, your target would be 35 and up because we're talking about income. They have to have, a good enough job to be ordering stuff on the repeat, right? On their auto shipment, right? It's not too many 21-year-olds who money is consistent enough to keep up with something like Amway. So, like I stated, I was with It Works, I was with Pure Romance, and I was with a Shoppers Club. I'm still with my Shoppers Club, Melaleuca. With Pure Romance, it was a little different. I had to have inventory, and it didn't work as well for me as It Works did. With It Works, I was setting up tables, grinding. I asked him, when's the last time you did a vendor's table? It does not qualify as a mentor just because these people check up on you and they pay for you to go to a conference that they benefited from. If you are not making sales, it's a hobby. If you are not closing, your business is a hobby. I'm not really sure why. At this point, I just sent him over my commission checks and I just sent him over my closing rate because I've watched him be in the business for this long, and I didn't want to smother my nephew. You know, I've been dragging him around to my entrepreneurship. We have a very, very supportive family. And that's when I realized, like, his first mentor, Elliot, wasn't really that, because you sell by listening, you sell by listening, you sell by listening. And when I had my phone call with him, he didn't listen to anything I said. Because, for example, I started off with, me and Dayago come from a very supportive family, okay? Day whole family would buy his Amway shit if he knew how to sell. Our family is so supportive of entrepreneurship. Most of the time, families are not supportive of entrepreneurship. Most of the time, families are not supportive of network marketing. But that's not our case. And even though I told him that several times in the conversation, he couldn't let go of his pitch. Like, he couldn't maneuver to what I was saying. He had to stay in his sales man. So he just kept going with the pitch. Well, now I'm turned off from that. As a client, I'm turned off from that. Because when you sell to a person, that's why I say you sell by listening, you sell by listening. When you sell to a person, you have to appeal to what they want, what their needs are. It's not a generalization. You have to shut up and listen to what they need. Some people are motivated by the money. Okay, some people is like, yo, I need the income, sales. Other people are, then you have some stay-at-home mamas that's motivated by the social part of it. They may not need the money at all financially, but that might be your best number one seller that you recruited on your team. That might be your star player that you recruited on your team, because even though she don't need the money, she loves throwing parties. She loves the social aspect of it. She at the flea market first of the month every Sunday. Every first Sunday of the month, she at the flea market with that table. She's investing in her business. She in front of LA Fitness. You know, she's in front of Planet Fitness. She's serious. She got her vitamins on the table. She don't miss Black Women's Expo. She don't miss the Small Business Expo. So everybody is motivated by something different. Some people are motivated by money. Some people are motivated by accomplishments and rank. Some people just want to be in the MLM because it feels good to keep hitting rank. And most MLMs have a very, very competitive compensation plan. I've not ran into that too. Like when I was talking to my nephew's mentor, I was like, yo, what's Amway's compensation plan? And he just kind of kept beating around the bush. I don't like people who teach people to sell that way. You are not sharing the opportunity. You're giving network marketers a bad reputation. I feel like you're misleading and misguiding my nephew because he's not making sales. The comment says, didn't know who you were at all, and to keep from being messy, I kept the conversation between him and I. I'm a big capper, though, especially of my nephews. And I hear what you're saying. You're very educated on business, it sounds like, but I'm not at all misleading or misguiding your nephew. For my nephew to have been in the business for over a year and not made rank and not made sales, I don't feel like you guys can tell me y'all not misleading him. I would not, if he was on my team, if I had a young guy on my team like that and I really wanted him to succeed, I'm going to either find products that he could actually push within the company that would appeal to his target market, or I would find him a new company. Because when you want a person to succeed for real, you don't care that if they on your Amway team, and you don't care you want them to succeed. So the fact that when I asked him, what's your closing rate? And he's been working with you and Elliot and he ain't made no sales and no closing rate, maybe you're not intentionally misleading him, but are y'all making sales? Because if y'all are making sales, and Day-Day, and it's like Day-Day's not even building a team though. So y'all not teaching him to build a team. Y'all not teaching him to make sales. He's not learning closing. He's not learning follow-up. When I asked him, I said, what day do you do your follow-ups on? What you mean? So y'all are encouraging him to go to work and just buy the product. Well, that means Elliot gets paid. Again, this is not MLMs, y'all. I don't want y'all. Amway is a good-ass company. Amway has been around for years. It works as a good-ass company. It works to help me pay for my house. I am not at all talking about I support network marketing. I'm not even, it works no more, and I will tell you right now to go join It Works. But it doesn't matter what the MLM is. Avon, Mary Kay, Janberry for nails. It's just, you know, It Works help me have enough money to then pour into my own brand and build my own brand. So I'm very thankful for that. But it's not the companies. And then people say like, oh, it's a pyramid scheme because they have these type of interactions. In how many more years do y'all think Day-Day is going to be a young enough man for y'all to entice him to buy a product that he's not selling? Everybody gets a reward for how many people they bring out to a conference. So I don't want to play like them type of games. You might not get a monetary bonus, but whoever brings out, whatever team is the strongest there is going to get a shout out at least. Like MLMs and network marketing has the best bonus plans, y'all. I'm telling y'all, if y'all not in the business, if you don't have no business experience, I would definitely say, which is what I told Argo, to go get into network marketing first. It's a low startup cost. You have low overhead. Depending on the business you go in, you may or may not even have inventory. So it's a really good start to learn business basics if you're actually being taught the basics. I know Elliot is the one to teach him business firsthand, or the attempt, but I talked to Elliot too, and I just was like, bro, what is your closing rate? Because at the end of the day, if you're not making money, your business is a hobby. I can't call Cash Queens a business if my business is a hobby. The starting rate to join Cash Queens is $100. The top rate is $200. It goes from it's 100, 150, 200, depending on the tier, depending on what type of support you need. I have 13 girls in Cash Queens. If those girls did not pay their $200, I have a hobby. I just have a girl group. I'm not making money off of it. I can invest all I want, but I'm not making money off of it. It also does not take more than a year to make one sale. It does not take more than a year to close, especially if you're being taught to sell in person. At this point, it's just the only reason why I didn't join Argo in business, because when they brought me Amway, I was like, yo, I'm finna join your business. Hey, beautiful. Hey, Nicole. When Argo joined Amway, I was like, yo, I'm finna join up under you. You're going to make the biggest commission check off me, because, baby, I sell. I make sales. Like, I'm a closer. That's my bottom line. That closer. I'm all about the numbers game. You have to talk. If you want 8 people, and I'm really down in the number, but you have to talk to about 100 new people. It's just, okay. It's things that I don't want to say on here, because y'all know I like y'all to pay me in Patreon. Y'all know I like y'all to pay me for my business advice, but I'm going to just say it on here because it's early. I don't know. Catch the gym. I don't know. But it's things that you learn in business that make sales, period, right? And sales is always a number game. So, like I told Day, I don't care if you have 100 retaining clients. Even if I have 100 retaining clients, every day it's my duty to expose my business or my brand to 30 new people. Every day. On Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter, wherever, YouTube, wherever I feel. But it's my job to expose my brand every day to 30 new people minimum. Because it's a lot that goes into this. In my paid videos, I usually have it scripted so I can explain it better, because it's broken down. My thoughts are arranged. Y'all, I'm going off the top of my head with this one, okay? So, what do I mean by that? Because y'all need more information in that, right? We was talking about closing, sales, a year in. So why I say there's never you in your first year of business, and yes, it usually takes 5 years to become stable in business, give or take, but you still need to be able to know you sell the product. So like I told Day, bro, if you set up a table at the flea market on the first Sunday of the month, people are going to buy. People are going to buy. That's your best bet. Now, this isn't to Amway or to his mentors or period. I just see a lot of people trying to make MLMs the easy way out. And like I told my nephew, in business, there is no easy, quick way out. You're going to do the work. I feel like it's very, very lazy to only try to sell online. Like that's like the laziest form of entrepreneurship I've seen thus far. I see a lot of people telling people you can sell online, but personally, my live videos get millions of views. Okay? No stunt. You could go on my Facebook. You're going to click on the live. There's millions of views there. When I go live in the middle of the day, it'd be hundreds of people just watching, right? I wouldn't then expect somebody who ain't never went live before to be able to sell on social media like me, a person who kept creating a social media presence. I'm going to teach you to sell in person. And like, that's something that my nephew's missing, the selling in person. Most times most times a person needs 12 exposures before they buy. What does 12 exposures mean? That means they need to see you post the product once on their timeline. That means the next day they need to see you do a live talking about the product. Then, because lives talking to people builds trust. Then the next day they need to see another advertisement about it, and then they need to see a testimony about it. Everything's a funnel. It's either you got a hot market, which is people who know you and know what you're doing, and you got a cold market, which is people who've never heard your business, don't know what you're doing. You also got a warm market in there. Okay, the hot market is closer to the spectrum of ready to buy and support from you. That warm market could go either way. If you don't give them more to see, if you don't advertise more, you're going to miss that sale. If you don't inbox them, if you're just not up on it, that warm market could go either way. But at the same time, if you are up on it and you stay up with your exposures, then you're going to make that sale. And then cold market just, they just don't even know about you or whatever. You have to determine where you are with who you talking to. Online, to me, is harder because you do need so many exposures. You do have to build that trust. Again, I don't trust that my nephew's mentors have his best interest at heart, because he's not learning business basics. There's no reason why he shouldn't know what closing is. It's no reason he shouldn't have a closing rate, and he been in y'all business for years. Like, he calling you mentor. He said you're the mentor. So how are you not teaching him business firsthand? He stepped back because he was spending money buying products, but no one's teaching them how to move the product. No one's teaching them how to push the product. He was just basically taught that running a business is steadily reinvesting in yourself, and it's not. That's not smart. It's not. If you don't at least make one sale, you need to be in a different business, because something's not adding up. Your target market isn't adding up. The way you're taught to sell isn't something is missing, because people buy anything. People buy anything. You just have to be presenting the right product in front of the right person. For the price mark of Amway, that's not the niche of a 21-year-old. I'm 28. And let me tell y'all how, I guess I could tell y'all my business. So with my Shoppers Club Melaleuca, okay, that's where I get all my soaps from, all my lotions. I'm going to have to delete this because I can't say Melaleuca. I'm not supposed to say that. And they real bougie. I'm going to talk about them in a minute, okay? But I was saying this to say, my clients that shop from my Shops Club are not my 28, 29-year-old friends. Because it would be hard for them to keep up $100 to $150 order. It's harder for them to keep up with that, just because at 28 they still paying off their student loans. At 28 they just having kids, or they just got married. They're saving up for houses. When you sell a product, you have to kind of judge where the person is in life. Okay, most of my clients from my Shoppers Club come from my cleaning service. Once I come in, I use my products from my cleaning service, and then it just smells good, it just be gleaming. It gives me a chance to just tell them all the details about it, that it's all natural, it's good for animals, it's good for your plants, it's good for your children, it's good for you, yourself, because I don't use bleach, I don't use ammonia, and and there's still a chemical, and they still work. But most of the people I clean for, first off, if you can afford a house cleaner, If you can afford a housekeeper to come clean up for you once a week, then I kind of already know you can afford to shop out my shoppers club. I spin it to them, I kick it to them in the way of, yo, if you have all your own products on hand, then I don't have to lug this stuff back and forth and nothing will ever get forgotten or lost. And I also and then it also helps me personally, because when they buy their own product, that's less of my product I gotta use. So it just is a win-win all across the board. I order from my shoppers club. Everything comes in concentrated form, so I get more than I would get in the store, and I actually save money, and it's better for myself and the environment and my clients. So that's the one perk. The second perk is then they buy themselves. I get paid off of their order. I get a commission off of the order that they buy. And also, I'm no longer using my products on the cleaning services. So I'm saving money with that because my products are going further. Also, I'm not being inconvenienced with carrying around all of that crap, because when I come to your house, you already have it, you know? But again, that's knowing your target. That's knowing your market. When we was coming up with Cash Queens and how much we were going to charge, it was like, man, we charging $200 a month. I was like, yeah, but Boss Palace is $250 a month, $250 a month, and you get a 50-person vendor list that is not even a vendor list forever. It like deletes after 30 days or something like that. Like, it deletes after 30 days. So it's not even like you get to keep the vendor list. I'm like, for girls who have already invested in their businesses, and lost money, that's a good deal for them. Girls who are making money in their business, that's a good deal for them. Girls who are going to make that $200 back a month, it's a good deal for them. So my price point matches my target audience. My target audience is 21 to 35. For what I offer, my price point matches it. When you sell shit like makeup, okay, and it's products that you can just go buy in the store, and you have this high ass markup, you definitely have to look at your demographics. People who are college educated tend to spend more on products that are worth it. Like people with a college, you could Google this, you could research this. It's not like I'm downing people. This is Googleable business research that you need. College educated people tend to spend more on things they see the value in. So as long as it makes sense to them, they're going to spend their cents on it. That matters when you're making a sale, when you're closing a sale. I think later I don't know if I want to write out a live to do on here or put it on my Patreon. I don't know. Good morning. Good morning, everybody.